Hello, everyone. On today's episode of Let's Talk FGO, wow, I really tried to juice that up a little. I could not. People asking how I am. I'm that much okay. I am alive. I am not 100% power. I still got some charging up to do. But yes, on today's episode of Let's Talk FGO, which is live because it is a Saturday, we're going to talk to you about more banners for the arcade collab. So many banners. Oh my gosh, all the banners. Comes with a bunch of rank ups. Got some news on their dates for Girlfriend My Super Camelot to talk about. Got some mailbag. And we're going to catch up on that Fence Servant Friday we pushed last week. I am one of your hosts. I am Omega. I am the one who is dying a little bit. With me as always, he's dying a little bit less. It's Lucky.
With that, though, I hope everyone is enjoying Fate Grand Order, aka secretly a different collab. And while we here at Studio Mega like to bring you the latest FGO-related news and memes, we will be talking about current and future events for both the JP and EA version of the game. So anyone not wanting spoilers should get themselves a bunny-eared wizard.
Yeah, I won a little game show there with the intro. But all right, yes, we're here. So to explain, if you do not follow the continuity, first of all, how dare you? But second of all, yeah, so it's no secret, on Wednesday, I became the sick. I was physically ill Wednesday, but I was alive enough to stream Final Fantasy XIV for like 4 hours because it's the easiest thing in the world. Don't ask me how that works. If I knew, I would be the director and producer of an award-winning 10-year-old MMORPG. But anyway. I have continued to be a little bit sick and a little bit off my game basically all week since then. I'm feeling mostly better today, but I'm still kind of like sweaty and tired and a little dry-throated, and I can't tell if that's just like normal springtime outside bullshit or if I'm still on the tail end of being ill. So it's hard to tell, but I'm staying hydrated. So yesterday, there's some ongoing Final Fantasy XIV stuff in the community. You may have noticed people in the new Final Fantasy XIV section chatting up a storm about a lot of things, but basically got a couple people wrapping up towards the end of Endwalker. So there's some cool stuff that some of our later on long story boys like Lucky want to see how people are reacting.
Yeah.
Get those first rate impressions. And so, we were talking about that last night, and I basically said, because you were like, oh, we're blocked in for some stuff for a little bit. I might be a while. And I'm like, okay. I just might, run out of juice and pass out. And you were like, do you want to just push the show? And I'm like, yeah, let's do that.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little low energy. Like I said, better today. We're starting a little earlier, but we're going to go ahead and knock this show out of the way so we can move on to stuff. So before we move all the way on to stuff, I would like to remind everybody this episode is brought to you by our patrons, like Adam DeHarp, Blacklist OG, Carl, Call Me Zed, Dragon, Ferris, Fightless Icebird, Jerry Vasquez, JDV9000, Justin the Fae, Jonathan Sandoval, Starlight, Legendary Boss Hunter, Regent Raptor, Rise of Kenji, Rogue, Robin, Charvor, Sean Pryor, some guy named Bob, and Varian the Crow. And if you like what we do and want to see us do more, consider supporting us on Patreon. Get access to episodes early in audio format and other fun stuff. You can also support us on our YouTube channel memberships, as you can see with some people using their special membership super chats.
Super chat
time. All right, okay. Let's see. We're in the thick of the business. Lucky is providing you with the FGO footage today.
Yeah, and guess what? We're gonna do what I always do when I stream, and I'm gonna work on my tremendous backlogs of rank ups.
Yeah, hey, it works. I mean, I'm glad we're at this point after the idol event is over, because I'm pretty sure we could not stream that.
No, probably not.
Or
no.
You would have to be very careful about where you put your slots in the free quests, because the record gremlins would be coming for us.
A bit, yeah.
Our stream will get taken down before you even know it. But all right. Gosh, 22 of you. Thanks so much for showing up, everybody. Giant bell curve. Wish we could get this on every stream. But I understand you guys are here for the Let's Talk FGO. So, I do have a vague pro-tippery segment. You will not hear the fun intro because I haven't converted that into a soundboard bite in Discord. So, Lucky can also hear it. So, there's no sound cue for this yet.
I mean, we could just throw in something else. We could use... Here, let's use this one. That was very loud. I need to adjust that.
Yeah, I'm looking at the block and the sound wave, and it's like twice as loud as I am right now. That happens sometimes. Let me make sure I'm focused up on my microphone. I've been having to boost myself in some stuff. I'll talk about the recap in a little bit. But I do have a pro tip segment in that I don't really have anything in particular today to let you guys know. There are some new mechanics in the new Grail front coming up in NA, but I figure I'll cover those when we actually get to that news segment, so I don't really have any tippery. We're just, do rank ups, do interludes and stuff, be juiced up. The content is coming. And we don't have any records because it is kind of a deadish week.
Hang on,
Lucky's lurking on his rank ups. I've been trying to catch up on my rank ups. Nothing new to report currently.
Lucky's not doing anything because I just went into our soundboard and I'm like, everything, 50%. But that's where we're starting.
Sounds like a solid one.
Okay. That is done.
I mean, we're going to get Fan Servant Friday, but it's not early. It happens at the end of the show. You got to get to the other half of the show.
Okay.
But yes, so there it is. There's show notes. Sorry, I got a couple extra tabs open. I can close the one with the patron list, though. Don't need that anymore. In All the World Evil, I do want to say, because this was going to be yesterday as well, but because I fell sick on Wednesday, the recap is not done this week yet. To kind of explain that process a little, I was already worried I would have to delay it anyway because of the way it's structured, but then actually being like legitimately sick for a couple of days, and as I said on Wednesday, actually like physically ill. They cut into my work time a little, so it's not ready. You'll get it next week. If I get it done early, I might post it early, but I might wait for the regular Friday slot anyway. We'll see. But the reason why I was already worried it would have to be delayed is because, so if you've been watching our best of Let's Talk FGO, the recaps for the Lost Belts, we're leading up to Lost Belt 6. Luckily, still got over a month for that, probably.
Let's speed it up.
A month-ish at this rate. But if you've been listening to those or watching, the video on YouTube, first of all, have you noticed that there's a different slide or zoom in every episode? I do a different effect, and it takes the whole 2 hours. Some of you probably haven't noticed. But you've probably cottoned on to the general format those episodes have been taking so far. There's a very brief present-day Omega intro where I remind everybody what we're doing and why we're here, because, always be willing to treat an episode like it's an onboarding process. There's, the musical insert. There's usually what we called our first impressions, which is like 20 to 30 minutes-ish of very, very early impressions, usually us being super excited, but picking and choosing what to talk about, stuff like that. Go on for a little bit. There's another musical transition, and then I do the actual bulk of our spoiler deep dive from usually the next episode, which lasts like 2.5 hours, right?
Right.
But if you've been listening along, you may have noted me in like the outros or in episodes happening as I'm making the recaps being like, oh yeah, can't wait till we get to Lost Belt 5. I know that our notes get a lot better then. Our notes do get a lot better. Unfortunately, means the show gets a lot thicker. Because we were... I mean, it doesn't sound wrong to me, but we were super juiced about Lost Belt 5 Part 1. I think in the first episode of it, you were already done, and I was already mostly done, and I was past our own spoiler cutoff. So we probably could have done the whole thing right away at once. But we actually, had some decent, notes and bullet points and stuff, and we had a specific section 11, where we cut ourselves off of. So that front half, that quote-unquote first impressions, that's already 2 hours. And I probably could have gotten that part done all in 1 week. I've got 45 minutes of that section left out of the amount of work I've been able to do reduced since I've been sick. I don't even know how much the second half is because actually looking at how long it is doesn't help me get the first part done faster. So I'm not entirely sure how long it would have taken in a normal week anyway. But again, definitely got delayed because I was too sick to work very hard on it over the past few days. Some of you out there might wonder how hard it is to, edit audio to be sick at. Actually, it is kind of difficult because it's not like I can just sit and listen to it. I have to stop the audio and edit bits when we throw in a lot of uhs or ums or whenever we just talk gibberish because we're so excited. There are a few moments where one of us just goes, yeah, or something to that effect, and I'm just like, and snip. So we probably sound a lot more coherent and smarter in the recap version, but it does mean I have to actually work on them, so.
Editing, removing the dumb.
This is mostly what it is. And honestly, this is why we don't edit the show as it comes out. One, obviously, right now we're live streaming, so what the hell could I do, you know?
We trapped.
I can't time travel. But the act of editing this audio would mean that, like line by line editing the audio, I still, like, keep an eye out for obvious edits and try and catch, like, weird sounds, you know, cut out silences, shit like that. Try and normalize out the audio. But actually doing, like, second-by-second audio editing would add a lot of extra steez and style to it, and it would take you longer to get the show, because even at 1.5 speed, you know, a 2-hour episode of Let's Talk FGO only becomes, like... Actually, 1 times 1.5 would be, what, 50% faster? So that would be only, like, an hour-ish of time? It's still, like, an hour. Assuming I'm doing my math right, which I might not be. I'm ills. But it's not as much of a speed reduction as you'd think, and that's also assuming I'm just listening to it, which again I'm not. When I say like or I kind of mutter off the mic, and even when I boost my own audio back up, I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. Snip that out. Sometimes episodes there's dog barks that I'm like, oh, snip. Just you catch little things. All right, okay, but we've prevaricated about that one for a while. Let's keep rolling on, because we can still talk about, did you finish your master missions? Possibly not. Let's run through those real quick. So, to complete your master missions this week, and you've only got a little bit of time left to do it, you need to defeat 3 king servants, 3 divine servants, 15 enemies with the heaven attribute, and then 30 enemies with the heaven attribute, and then get 2 skill gems or statues of any type through battles, and then 4 skill gems or statues through any types of battles. Mostly, for the most part, do dailies. Daily EXPs should count for all your heavens, because I believe every single hand counts as a heaven attribute enemy. Because they're all from Prometheus, haha.
Ha 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 ha.
And then do, like, daily training grounds to get statues or gems. If you want to get 3 kings and 3 divines, that'll also get you some heaven attributes as well. There's a couple of spots in Rome that I believe are best for that. One of those is Mount Etna. Let me double check what the other one is called. Oh, it's just Gaul, yeah. Oh, and actually, yeah, no. Gaul will get you your 3 runs of Gaul will get you your 3 king and 3 divine, and then you can do Mount Etna for the heaven. And that should be slightly cheaper than just slamming, 40 AP EXPs over and over, but still, you can get it done with dailies as well. So yeah, pretty solid. Yeah, if you did the event before it ended, you would have got that, but obviously that's a while ago, so we're not necessarily counting on that double track in there. All right, well, that is all of our normal intro stuff. Let us move on to our skelograms.
Yeah.
Moveth on it. We take a big sip of water there. I'm staying hydrated, chat, and you should too. A lot of people be saying it's hot. Some places it do be hot. But for the FGOX arcade collab, as they insist on still calling it, which is, I mean, it is true. I believe story-wise it does actually line up with the conclusion of arcade, but also, God, they got a lot of stuff going on there. We have even more summoner bannerers. So their first drop, which was technically Summon Campaign 2 or 3? Question mark?
3.
Kind of weird because they extended the Tiamat one.
Yeah, the Tiamat one became 1, then Draco Acoustic became 2, and then they have 3, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So that one is Lady Avalon. So she gets a rerun before summer even. Pretty wild. But also very appropriate, obviously. The other is our female Jacques de Molay and Caskill. 4-star Caskill is also on that rate up. So, very interesting, slightly surprising. Next, we got a Skahawk and Nightingale separate rate ups. That was Summon Campaign 4 or something. And then we're now rounding it out with another dual rate up, which they have just announced. I think it's only just started, which is one set of banners is Mordred and Lancer Alter. The other is Jack / regular Nero. So basically what we're doing is we're stepping back in time through the singularities as presented by Arcade. You know, you get Lady Avalon and Jax Demole for some of the later action stuff, Skok and Nightingale for, like, America time. Mordred, Lancer, Alter, and Jack are all London. Nero is obviously Septum, but also relevant. So I do think this means we're not getting any more SRs or SSRs from this event.
No.
But holy shit, there are a lot of banners.
There's a lot of banners. I'm still a little sad.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's always a shame to not get more units, but also this is a lot of rate-ups for stuff.
It is a lot of rate-ups, and we do got three new servants, in general, but there's just so much. There's so much.
Not every single one of these, but like several of these are coming with quite a few rank up quests.
Oh.
A lot of rank ups. Yeah, and somebody pointed out there's like a week and a half of the event left, technically. They're really giving you something to do if you just blitz the event and finish it up. You have new stuff to do in the form of these rank ups. So let's start at the top. First of all, Foreigner Jacques, her innocent monster got adjusted. It now lets her apply 500 curse damage for 3 turns on attack. And that applies first because it is on her skill that gives her bonus damage versus cursed enemies. So now she can get the curse in and then hit them. Kind of evening out that. Caskill probably got one of the craziest buffs here. His King's Return, that's the one that already gives you plus 100% star generation. Apparently, FGO decided that one trick still isn't enough, so it now gives himself 20 to 30% battery and the whole team 10 to 20% battery, which also means that he gets 50% battery.
I mean, I'm very happy with this. Before we really got out, Caskill was my AoE arts caster. Yeah. I fired him off a lot.
He is a very solid unit, and this rank up definitely kind of brings him back in vogue because it means that he's no longer like competing for some other, team-wide battery slot. Like, for instance, you may be like, but can I afford those Caskill buffs when I could double Castoria? Well, the man provides himself a 50% battery and is your art's AoE, so he's pretty self-sufficient in there. It gives you some wiggle room. But we also have some more. Nightingale's Angel's Cry, that's her targetable buster up, has been improved. It now gives 20 to 30% buster crit damage and generates 10 to 20 stars on that servant as well. So very solid stuff there, giving you some big buster crit energy. It feels like Lasengel is finally realizing that Buster is, even after all their support, still not so overtuned that they can't give it extra things.
Well, I think it's really
we also got...
one second. This is really good for Nightingale because Nightingale's always been in this weird spot as a Berserk supporter. But giving her a bit more credibility means that she can either steroid herself into doing big damage or steroid someone else into doing big damage. And so I don't think she's necessarily going to replace anyone in any Buster meta comps, but people who have her, I think, will be glad to have her.
Mm-hmm. And just in general, that 10 to 20 star steroid is really good for a lot of Berserkers because they they have a lot of gorilla decks. They're not usually super great at star generation.
Yes.
And then, of course, on my end, yes, this is in all caps in my notes. Mordred Mana Burst, let's go! Let's go! So now she gets the usual Mana Burst buff. The Buster damage is now 3 hits, 3 turns. She also gets the 20-30% Buster crit damage up for herself, and she gets a self-only 10 to 20% attack up for 3 turns, which is very funny because Mordred does canonically have like a C or D rank charisma. So they just integrated all that into Mana Burst, so now she gets a self-attack up for a few turns. The Buster damage lasts a little bit longer, and she gets that extra crit damage, which when combined with her Cigarette Lion buff, which already gives her star weight on Buster up, means you are going to be getting some big ham bone crits. Big damage.
I should have got the image of Mordred from Apocrypha where she's just powering up after she got angry at Jack and she just has the dopiest fucking face. Just slap that in there.
Yeah. So yeah, no, that's some big slamma jamma. But her dad is not to be outdone. Lancer Alter has finally gotten a buff, chat.
Jesus.
Her Charisma E has finally been fixed. It took us many, many years. It is now Wild Hunt EX. Thanks for that. This makes it the full 10 to 20% damage up for 3 turns for everybody, and gives herself separate 20 to 30% damage ups versus lawful and good traits separately for 3 turns. So you're looking at, if you've maxed out this skill, a 20% attack up for the whole team, and she herself gets 60% total damage increase because it's the same buff, so it's additive versus lawful good enemies. Considering that she is a, you know, Buster AoE damage sweeper and did already get her mana burst buff fixed as well, this is pretty good. It's pretty good trait damage in there. Very solid.
Yeah.
And of course, not to be left out, little old Vanilla Nero has been buffed as well with this last patch. So her Imperial Privilege now gives her 10 stars per turn for 3 turns, and it gives herself 20 to 30% arts up for 3 turns, which is good, because her arts buff is, I think, the one that's city or water only. It was weird. Anyway, this should give her some more consistent performance. The arts buff, you know, always procs, and you get stars per turn, so moving a little away from more chance-based buffs. So yeah, all of it's very solid, very big, very useful. So we appreciate that all immensely.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait for 2 years for this chaos. Also, as obviously you can see from the thumbnail we brought up before, Beast Draco has her final 2 Ascension arts now and her extra sprite. And we go in, actually, everybody thought it would be the normal direction from the arcade version, but no, we've gone in a completely different direction, which is pretty neato.
You're only at 6. Never mind.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a very interesting direction they've gone. There's also some very, not to get too much into like deep cut spoilers and all this, but having read some of her profile translations, they use some very interesting language for this. So the small form, who by the way, canonically, I believe is 35 kilograms, and her tail is 65 kilograms. So if you've been seeing all those, like, you know, tempura shrimp jokes, that's probably working as intended. But that is referred to as her heliocentric form, sun-centered, and her, you know, unofficial Vlad cosplay form is her geocentric form, Earth-centered. So all of that's very interesting, but I, for one, am in big approval of Beast Nero decides to become a Dark Souls boss.
Yes.
It's pretty cool. It is also, by the way, explicit in her profile that her higher 2 Ascensions are going back to flirty mode. This is literally in the substance of the text.
Listen, I got the thumbs up and the tear just went down my eye. I'm just like, yes.
Yeah, she's also a Castlevania boss. It's pretty good.
She is a dark fantasy boss.
Yeah. She has a dialogue line for Tiamat Larva where she's like, "Foo foo foo, I'm taller than you." So yeah, very interesting stuff. Real good work there. We will continue to see where this goes. You know, again, doesn't seem like they're slacking with. We still got 4 new servants out of this event, so, which was not more than we'd hoped, but you know, more than we'd assumed. And they seem to be doing solid things, so it's pretty good. We'll just have to see whatever the fuck is next. Are we gonna get a, you know, that ordeal call in kind of our, you know, summer pre-anniversary slot, or do we have something else brewing? Will we get a rerun? You know, to spice things up. I don't know.
No, it's too soon for Gouda Gouda.
I mean, not necessarily, but remember, we had Gouda Gouda already, basically, because they did the White Day event that way.
True.
While we have debated whether or not they will technically do 2 Gouda Gouda events this year, I don't think they would do one in the first half, considering the White Day one was very much a you know, Gouda Gouda spinoff. But yeah, there's as usual a lot of open-ended questions, but FGO has this amazing swing power, so it's really interesting to see what's going on with them.
Actually, that's...
Yeah, they might do another girlfriend. That's true.
Yeah. Might be girlfriend.
Actually.
Yeah.
That'd be good. That would give them an excuse to, you know, throw maybe some more costumes, maybe even more rank ups, because we are not slacking in that rank up department, and I'm here for it.
Dwagon.
Listen, I know some people are against, you know, errata and stuff, and, you know, balance changes and game updates for just, you know, moving on stuff. But I, for one, am all for it. Maintain your units' evergreen purity. Keep them coming on. Everything is good. But we also have some NA news, speaking of Grailfront. We're in the middle of the pre-release campaign for Grailfront My Super Camelot, and we do have a hard and fast date on that one. It will be beginning very shortly, in a couple of days, starting the 8th, going until the 21st. Now, do remember, Grailfronts usually run long. That's still only a week of maps. So it's blocked out for 2 weeks. There won't be any new content after the 14th. I assume that we'll probably get our next event started somewhere around there. And it will probably be Nerofest. But it might be the summer rerun. I don't know. Also, honestly, if it is the summer rerun, I'm like, considering it's 7:30 at night and it's still 81 degrees outside, like, I'm like, yeah, no, you can say it's summer.
Yeah, it's getting warm.
You can call it summer. That's okay now. So I don't know, but it'll be almost assuredly one of those two will get fired up. So
yo, look at this guy
really
rocking their
stuff.
level 100 Gil. Big numbers. Big
People
numbers.
do be rocking out there. But so we have those dates. We're getting the Grailfronts coming back. They did announce in the announcement of the event there will be a couple of new mechanics this time around. They're going to be adding things like treasure chests on the map, which are not just buffs, but extra little things you can get. You only get them if you clear the map, so you can't, like, farm them over and over again, or if you lose or withdraw, you don't get your items, you got to go back to it. It does seem to imply, though, that these are missable bonuses.
Uh-oh.
Or perhaps they are at least, you know, because you can redo the maps. They are there until you get them, so if you don't go out of your way to get them, you will not get them. No, you will not be able to farm them. They are, I believe they are one and done. If you get the treasure chest and finish the map, you've got it. And if you lose the map or quit it or go around there, it, you know, rattles around. There also is another mechanic they have announced, enemies that will be marked as dangerous enemies. These enemies are optional. You do not have to defeat them, and unlike the normal servant roster, the game still ends if you defeat all servants but the dangerous marked ones. So these are there to give you some extra helping of challenge, or maybe some alternate strats if you can, like, burst through the really tough enemy to the master and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's intriguing. It's interesting. It's a neato. We also have a couple of other things. Mordred's costume, Memories of Treefus, will be added to our new dressmaking tab. It'll be in there permanente. We are getting banners. One banner will be Lartoria Gawain Lancelot. The other will be Mordred Lancelot Tristan. I wrote that as Tristant in my notes, but I'll fix that. Also, I mean, I gotta be honest, that might be a legitimate spelling somewhere. There's like a dozen ways to spell each knight's name. Technically, you could call Tristan Drystan or Dunstan with a D.
Dunstan.
Yeah.
Dunstan.
I know. It's weird. But we also get some rank ups with this. So this comes with Artoria Pendragon Lancers mana burst buff. It's still only the one turn for her, but she gets the special attack for chaotic and evil applied. So as somebody brought up earlier, kind of an inverse to what they ended up doing with Lancer Altar's Wild Hunt, though on a different skill. But yeah, gives her the double trait damage on her MP steroid, which is good. And the Tristan buff also happens, so that's normally his, I believe it's normally his Harp of Love, which is apply one hit of evade and remove debuffs and recover HP, everybody. So that one also now improves his quick card effectiveness for 3 turns, and I believe the amount of HP it recovers is improved. So good buffs all around. Did I already? I think I already used my monthly tickets on one of those tail end banners. There's a lot of banners going on.
Actually, did I?
If I didn't, I'd probably go for the Lartoria. But I believe this anniversary is our free SSR ticket, which includes a story locked one. So
Yep.
if true, I will be picking a finally picking Lancer Artoria there.
Woo.
I'll throw weekly tickets at that as well. Or possibly for the Mordred NPs, but we'll see. My Mordred doesn't necessarily need extra NP levels. I believe she is actually NP2 and died level 100, so. I already have a Quetzalcoatl, so I do not need to worry about that particular Wombo combo.
Mm-hmm.
But we have one final bit of news, not directly FGO related, but I know that all of you Faties out there are going to eat it up. We know what you're about. So, this percolated online over this past week, but I'll let everybody know if you didn't see it on our Discord or on Twitter somewhere, that Fate Samurai Remnant does have a rating in Taiwan, apparently. I believe it's 15 plus was what it was, but the tweet was still, Gimitsu tweeted in English, but their screen cap was still in, Chinese, so not 100% sure. But it has been applied and given a rating by a ratings board somewhere. And so it is still due out sometime in 2023 for PS5, PS4, Switch, and PC. All of the classic ones out there. And so that's probably good to know. And honestly, hearing that it has a rating by a rating board definitely makes me feel more confident that that 2023 release date is probably actually accurate,
Yeah.
Because you don't submit to ratings boards until you're in a mostly complete state. Probably you could still do it. You want to get the ball rolling before you hit gold, just to make sure you don't have to change anything. But it's definitely not something you do until late into the production process, because you want to make sure that you're not adding any new shit.
Yeah.
Knowing the ESRB, I mean, that sounds like a teen rating equivalent, but we'll see. I believe somebody translated it or did like a quick translation as like, I think it's like for, violence and stuff, and something rendered as like antisocial behavior. I'm going to guess because it's called Samurai Remnant, there's probably, you get to do some Ronin or crime stuff. Probably. But we'll see exactly. And keep your eyes peeled for any, Japanese rating board. I think, is that Seto?
Yes,
I think is there. Yeah. And ESRB, obviously, we'll let you know. But yeah, sounds like a T. Maybe an M, but probably a T. I'm sure Fate wouldn't hurt for some, broader marketing hits. If it ties the audio call stuff, that'd be interesting, but we'll see. I'm assuming the audio call stuff will probably be pre-anniversary again for that middle of the year story infusion. I'm kind of hoping Fate doesn't manage to do a stealth, big console game release in the summer. Please, Mr. Nasu, don't do that. Surely you want to play Tears of the Kingdom 2, right?
And
you like action games. You've got to be excited for Final Fantasy 16, right? Come on, you gotta help me out. There's Armored Court's in August, man. You gotta be cool. As the giant mushroom just looms over me. Whew. But yeah, so that's just an interesting tidbit of news. And that's it for our skelograms.
That's it.
Rounded out to a decent, 30-ish minutes.
30-ish.
Yes, Tears is indeed in like 6 days.
Oh.
Sorry, I just looked at our sideboard for Discord for the first time, and I forgot that like last week you enabled the YouTube integration. So it says, because you're streaming, it says currently streaming HORNED GOTH ... It's like, haha. That gives me a chuckle. Teehee.
Teehee. Well, hang on. Let me finish leveling Henry here.
What is my phone charge at, actually?
Why is it green? Is that the serum?
Yeah, I think that's supposed to be the serum. And if you ask why that is green, I don't know, actually. I think it might have been described as a weird color. Log in FG. I actually can't tell. I've been like so zoned out from stuff. I'm not sure whether or not I've missed my my login streak and reset recently.
Oh, you know me. I break mine like at least once a week. All right, but well, he's not done yet because I like getting them to max level. But he close. He close. But with that, let us move on over to this week's Let's Talk FGO mailbag, the segment where we read what you have to say and comment accordingly. Ooh, excuse me. Carbonation is getting me. I've been drinking one of me Fanta Zeros. Orange. Does Lucky like some orange soda? Yes, he likes orange soda. But this week we have a lovely, lovely 14 submissions today, and we will try to get through them all. Hopefully y'all didn't write anything weird in there. This is where Lucky pans to the camera. I have 62 fucking Raycom quests. I'm gonna be here forever. Headbutt the mic, and we begin. So this first one comes from becoming the top idol so I can write a Tinder love song for my roommate. Hey. Question with Thr, spelled T-H-R. New Grail Funk coming up. Do either of you have suggestions for fun/alternative ways to play it? Like themed teams or unusual solos? I'm gonna be real. No, not really. Usually I find that the best way to, the most fun and alternative way to play is the way that you think is best. Me, I usually like to try to stuff Tamamos and combos wherever I go, and go ham.
Sorry, Architect had a funny comment in there. Don't think of it as 62 rank up quests. Think of it as 124 sync courts.
That is powerful.
It's true. It's 2 per now. Not counting for milestones either. And yes, to answer the actual question, like you said, not really. I mean, I can't really think of any unusual solos. Usually when I think of solos, I think of the usual suspects, like hee Super Orion, hee Perk. But themes, I don't really know. I don't look up or like pre-game the Grail fronts because it's just 7 maps. It's not really that difficult to brain most of the time if you've got a few days to think about it. So I don't know like what kind of classes you'll have access to. Otherwise, just, you know, do whatever you think is best, like you said.
If you want to try something fun, try a bronze-only challenge, a silver-only challenge, and a gold-only challenge. Limit yourself.
Assuming that you can get away with the gold-only one, because sometimes those cap limits on Grail fronts are tight.
Well, that just means you have less gold units to use. Pick wisely. But with that, let's keep moving on. This next one comes from Santa Suzuka Waiting Room. Oh, buddy, I'm right in there with you. Let's hold hands. Question. With my luck on the surprise our June altar banner, I was wondering, has there been a serving you rolled for hard on a debut and just couldn't get a copy but came quickly on a random raid up or GSSR pool? I have to look to the heavens for this. Because I definitely know there have been servants I have whiffed on their, on their debut, but I don't think I've ever gotten them on randomly. Usually, I do a fucking training montage, and the next raid up or raid up after that, I go ham again, and I usually get them.
Yeah, it's not quite random. I have a couple of examples. Well, one of them is random, actually, now that I think about it. But I got a couple of examples of this. First of all, I should say, because I've told this story before, but I'll remind everybody. Technically, Maeve, there's footage somewhere on this channel out there of me rolling for Jolter. She came right away. It was like the first or second 10 pull. It was on camera, too, so it was very funny. Then I immediately switched towards the America banner 3 or 4 or whatever, which was Maeve and Kualter. And I blew the remainder of my Saint Courts there and did not get Maeve. I got her like a year later, randomly on a Valentine's banner when it wasn't even her raid up day. She just kind of showed up. So that's probably a case of that where like I went decently hard, not super hard, obviously, but I put a decent amount of effort into that the first time around. But the second is probably Odysseus. I'm just not sure if I would call that one random because it was, another raid up he had. But Odysseus' first raid up, you may recall, chat, that I went pretty ham on, and I managed to get NP6 from 0 Kirki, but did not get Odysseus or any SSR for that matter. And I'm very lucky that the actual Lost Belt banners were way nicer to me as I stare at my, complete collection of Romulus, Quirinus, Dioscuri, and Canis. But it was pretty close after, so I was a little concerned. I threw money at that. second time. I don't remember what our most recent Odysseus banner, like earlier this year, was it another White Day raid up? It might have been the White Day rotation. But I did get him actually in like a 10 pull or two of trying. But that was still an actual raid up day, so. I don't know if MHXA was for you a rando.
It wasn't a rando. I believe MHXL is a limited berserker, so it can't be random.
Well, yeah, and I don't think that's necessarily what this person meant by random. Just, you know, they said random raid up banner, like you just, oh, it's MHXA. I'll throw a 10 pack at it.
No, I think
it was a deliberate choice.
Yeah. Because that's how it was with Brunhilder. That's how it was with MHX Alter. I believe that's how it was with the Vinci.
Yeah, usually, like you said, if you miss a banner, you'll training montage. You will be like looking up when future banners are and being like, okay, when can I do the thing?
But that is that, and let's keep going. So this next one comes from Sad Goose. I wish I had a fucking goose honk here. We have a duck, but that's not the quiet. And I don't think I modified that audio, so it'll be loud. You guys do not want loud ducks in your ear. What they say is words. Where is Sita? With the arcade event in JP being more extra themed than the first thought, are there any costumes for servants from arcade that you are bumped that were not brought with this event? I wanted a Saber male Jacques Delamoy costume or the Santa costumes. Side note, it's neato that Omega has predicted, at least, 2 servants from his Fan Servant Friday servants. Have good vibes and a tasty weekend. Yeah, I know.
Well, I cooked a pizza today, so.
I know Lacusto was one. What was the other one?
I think it might be people talking about Melusine, which is a name I had. That's not 100% accurate, but there might be some others. Locusta is absolutely a case where I was like, this would be a cool idea, FGO, I dare you. And they were like, okay, bet.
Does anyone remember the other one?
Sadly, there's not a Fan Servant Friday topic poll like there is Teach Me, so maybe that'll be another project for another time.
Well, I'm glad this person remembers, so thank you very much. On your question, I mean, yeah, no, Santa Suzuka, big there. Big yard of energy. Give me that shit. Just, And also, just some of the other alternative costumes I have, like frickin' Drake's Space Captain costume. Like, why?
Just in general, FGO Core Mobile, can I get a Drake costume, please? Anyone. Any one of them will do. You've shown off several of them in your game. Please. I'm dying.
Yeah, but the Drake costume's pretty up there for me.
I mean, I don't even have a regular Archer Guild, but I still contend that the fact that I'm terribly ashamed and disappointed that Arcade got his fucking Battle in New York trenchcoat costume when I don't even know if they did the Battle in New York event as it was. They just added the CEs.
It's very weird, yes. How dare they? But yeah, no, I would definitely wanted Santa Suzuka. A costume at least. But let's see here. Is there anything else in their oeuvre? I'm pretty sure they have more costumes that I'm just not thinking about because I can't brain.
Listen, let's be fair. I think we've gotten this question once a week for the last like 4 weeks because we've been building up to the arcade collab. Obviously now we have full hindsight because the event is, while still ongoing, most of the new shit is out. Unless they're going to, like, sneak something on us, which I don't think they are.
Bamboozle.
So now we're kind of, like, hindsighting it, but you can probably listen back to previous episodes in the recent past to find some other suggestions of costumes we thought were cool.
Mm-hmm. But that is that. So let's move on. Musashi is filling up my sound bar, looking at her go. But moving on, this next one comes from a master who was never a fan of Nero. Audible gasp. But goddamn it, hot demon lore mommies are my weakness.
You fallen into her trap.
If Hop Demon Lord mommies are not someone's weakness, I don't know them. Who is this person? You're
I
strange.
mean, this is the joke I was literally thinking of when we were talking about, you know, we wanted Santa Suzuka's costume. I'm like, if somebody doesn't want Santa Suzuka's costume, I don't know them.
Hello there, Arcade, Lucky, and Extra Omega. It's been a while since I sent in a question, so hopefully you both are doing fabulous. I think I'm still fucking covered in glitter from like a week ago.
Well, it is glitter. I do be like that.
So yes, no, I am unwillingly fabulous right now. Non-consensual fabulosity. With the Arcade collab story coming to a close on JP and seemingly being quite well received, what are your personal thoughts on it? As an NA only, I can only judge it from the sidelines, but the gameplay from it doesn't seem that exciting, so hopefully the story is actually quite fun. Can't wait for the experience. We can't wait to experience it in 2 years. Ooh, excuse me. With that being said, what is your personal rankings of FGO collabs be thus far? I say nothing has come close to beating CCC still, but everything else is still mighty fun to play. Despite me liking it, I say Waltz has been the weakest one of the ones I experienced because it doesn't have any funny or crazy gimmicks like Requiem with its minigames. This is where I pan to the camera again. Hopefully you guys have a fantastic rest of your week and get ready to beat up Merlin again. Bye-bye. So,
This is a multi-part question.
it is. I mean, well, for like ranking stuff, like, well, actually no. Top of the line, we're NA only players. I see stuff, I know stuff, I do not actually know what any of it means. I just see a whole bunch of separate facts that I cannot put together.
Yeah, I can't really interpolate anything on the arcade collab yet.
Yeah.
I know that obviously people are talking about there do seem to be a little bit more extra leaning with some of their references, but also plot-wise, I do understand that there is still some setup stuff that actually ties into what the fuck was actually supposed to be going on in arcade. And who knows, maybe like it seems actually maybe like this event serves as a purpose to explain what the plot of arcade was actually, kind of like. So, you know, we'll see how that one shakes out, but I don't know the details, and I'll figure it out. The writing, I'm sure, will be very interesting.
Mm-hmm. But
Gameplay is always kind of a shrug with FGO, you know.
Mm-hmm. But if we're talking about collab rankings, yeah, no, CCC still my top. Still probably one of the best stories we have.
CCC is almost cheating because, as we have long established, it really is just an EOR in disguise in a funny hat, you know? Like, it's a... While the EORs themselves are rated as optional, I think that's mostly just because they understand that a couple of them were kind of annoying mechanically or not popular story-wise. Like, you can't really skip Shimosa in terms of the Lost Belts because it serves as an intro to a lot of Musashi's character stuff, which is very important, and also other things. And, you know, there's a lot of good story work there, but the CCC one is just an Epic of Remnant, literally, that was called the collab tie-in, and so it's, you know, it almost deserves to be ranked among Epic of Remnants and other story chapter drops rather than just the collabs, because not every collab does have a good story.
Yeah, no, and believe it or not, I think probably the Waltz one is actually probably, you know, 3rd or 4th on my list. Guys, do you remember we've had collabs with, you know, Karo no Kyokai and Fate Zero, which were just regular-ass events, no gimmicks?
Yeah.
Like, no gimmicks.
I mean, not that I shame the Karo no Kyokai one. That was for early FGO, very strong opener, but...
Yeah, no, like, early FGO...
It was just a mission event, as we see now. Like, it was our first one, but that's just what mission events are now, is that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'm trying to remember our other collabs here. I can't bring right here.
Zero at least had some funny story tie-ins. That was actually kind of interesting to see, and also we got the Iries.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's funny this person is like, oh, you know, Requiem's crazy gimmicks like it's minigames. I almost had like a reflexive, like, PTSD cringe there, because listen, it was a good attempt, but damn, some of that minigame stuff dragged.
It did.
I did not actually enjoy playing Werewolf.
Then we had CCC, we have Waltz. I feel like we're missing one. Are we missing one?
Prisma.
Prisma,
you haven't mentioned yet. Prisma, pretty solid.
Prisma's solid writing, but again, it had no gimmicks. You just went from map piece to map piece and slapped people.
Yeah, it had some raids which are always funny, but it was fairly straightforward.
Yeah.
We don't know anything about the manga collab yet either. That one hasn't happened yet for us, so we'll talk about that one in about a year.
But it has Super Bunyan, so I'm already hopeful.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be... I believe they actually did say it had at least some, if not all, of the event writing by Rio, who draws the Learning with Manga comics, so I assume it'll be funny as hell.
But yeah, because we had Zero, we have Prisma. That might be all of them.
Requiem. I mean, we're coming up on year 7 in A, right?
Well, if I remember correctly, I don't know. I don't remember if the Zero and Cardinal Kyokai collabs were actually in the Golden Week slot. I think one of them was.
Cardinal Kyokai definitely was.
Oh, fucking Case Files. That's the one I'm missing.
Yes, Case Files.
I knew I was missing one. Yeah, I think that's the last one. Case Files is... It was good. It was a little weird, but I don't think necessarily think it had any big gimmicks.
No, not really. It had solid writing. It had some interesting things going on there. I mean, there's some plot stuff I liked in there.
Yeah, no, if we're
that one will be interesting to see with the rerun, which should be early next year, because that's when we're gonna add FAC onto the summoning pool, and she gets like a little trial quest subsection in there. Love when they do that shit with the reruns. But yeah, in general, a lot of the collab events serve as like homages to the plot and excuses to introduce the characters of those stories to FGO. You know, sometimes they're more meta than others. Like Prisma was very entertaining because it had a lot of commentary about magical girl shows with the fucking, intro slides and shit. Very nice. But obviously, you're talking raw production value at the moment anyway. I don't think Grail Live can be topped.
No,
when you actually go out of your way to create all these different idol costumes and record image songs for all of the idol servants you're using, no,
like they went hand with new music, new backgrounds. Like, guys, did you understand how much effort had to go into that foreground, into that background with the stage and people in the background and in the foreground? I might add, that's a whole nother layer right there of waving fucking light sticks. Like,
and they had a lot of like extra effects. Also, the programming, there's something that FGO doesn't really do a lot, where like you get mid-wave music transitions. Like, usually if music does transfer in the same quest, it's between waves. Like, you'll do 2 ad waves, then the boss wave, and the music shifts. But no, there were some fights where you would like wipe out the first half of the bosses and a new person would cycle in and the music would shift mid-run.
Or you break a break bar and, the boss music will switch to your side. To whoever was in your slot, too, which could be, between, what was it, 8 different songs?
God knows what kind of programming work went into setting that up to work properly.
No, but, like, for, like, the feels, no, CCC can't be topped. It really can't. But for production value, Waltz is even higher. Like,
and I mean, and we can say, because it was also a story chapter, CCC did have its gimmicks. It had some really interesting boss fights. People still do the no Kiara Punishers run sometimes, because you can do that with the main interlude, because it's like that was a really, really tough fight that was almost impossible when it came out, and is still tough if you don't know what you're doing today, Like, some very interesting mechanical stuff we don't always get a crack at. But yeah, no, like I said, CCC is practically cheating. It's almost counts in its own sphere, but there's a lot of the KP thing is that what I talk about later when I love when they re-add stories to reruns, because that was only in the rerun version, and now the main interlude version, very solid, very neato.
Burrito. But with that, let's keep going. I do believe
we have a few more, yes.
Yes. All right. So, the next one comes from Fledgling Commander, who is starting to see the vast amount of endeavors Nikkei will put you through. Yes, and a lot of them are going to put you on the ground. I mentioned this in the in the actual post, but me and several of the Nikkei lads were floored. We were put through the floor into the catacombs. A couple of us even went subterranean before that, just by the emotional devastation that Nikkei has been inflicting upon us.
Such devastation!
So...
Put you on a plane so they can put you on a hearse.
Pretty much.
Wait, shit, in the soundboard, I can get that from Helsing Abridged now. Second verse, same as the first. Now put me on a plane so I can put them in a hearse. The only thing stopping us from being absolutely demonic is the fact that we're lazy. if we were 100% motivated and caffeinated at all times, ooh, baby, every VC would be unusable. So many soundboard options.
But they say, "Hey, looking at Meg, I have no question for you this week, but I wanted to share two bits of info. First, the NA Anniversary Servant is an AOE DPS slash support assassin. Just to warn Omega.
Oh, I am aware.
We are both aware.
Pretty sure I've made those jokes.
Second, the FGO NA Twitter shared an amusingly timed PR post about NP levels, definitely as a tug for the avalanche of LB6.
I did see that. They had a tweet with a new graphic reminding you that NP levels, really give you a lot of juice for your favorite servants.
Thank you for amusing and insightful FGO videos, and please rest your voices when necessary.
Please rest your voices when necessary. You're not allowed to clip that.
How very glib.
We have too much power. Oh, also, I was tapped away looking at the mailbag. Loth apparently called the such devastation. All right, well, just for that, I'm not going to hit the skip ad button. You'll see the ad in 50 seconds, or you won't.
I have a question. When it actually serves the ad, does it pause us, or does it just shove an ad in their face and we get talking and they come back to us talking about something 2 minutes in the future?
I believe it because we're live, it does not pause the stream. It just serves an ad, and if you have to watch the ad, you'll come back 5 or 30 seconds later. God help you if you get a 2-minute ad and you watch the whole thing for some reason.
That seems mean.
Yeah, apparently a little bit of inside baseball. This is a feature that is absolutely cribbed from Twitch. YouTube very recently enabled it sometime this year. In Twitch, I believe it's enforced in every video. Gives you the automatic ad serve, and it's Twitch ads, which are always 30 seconds unskippable. With YouTube, at least some of you are going to be like, well, here's a 6-second unskippable ad, or here's an ad you can skip in 5 seconds. I also appreciate that YouTube is like, hey, it's been a little bit. It'd be a good time for an ad. Or you can skip it. I also don't know if it serves everybody the ad all at once. It might not actually do that. It just says that some viewers will see an ad in 50 seconds. But now that we've definitely probably talked through most of our ad service, we can keep on keeping on.
That was my intent. So, with that though, let us move on to the next one. This next one comes from The Eternal Storm, who says, "Hey guys, sorry for being gone for so long, life and all that. As we like to say here in the Studio Mega channel, and has to remind some people every once in a while, life happens." Question: do you think that we may get Cath Plug as a Welfare Beast class servant in the future? Thank you both for your work, and I look forward to Fan Servant Friday.
We'll get into that after this mailbag, because we don't really have a back half.
We really don't.
So I hadn't thought of this until I saw this person write in, and then I was like, I'm enamored with this idea now. That sounds fucking adorable. Don't even try to waifu-ize foe or anything. Just make it a little foe, and just we've already got a voice actress credit for this. Aiko Kawasumi makes foe noises. That's all you need. It's perfect.
That's perfect.
No, no. Will we ever do this? I do not fucking know. Could we and should we do this?
Yes.
And it like now that we've opened up this weirdness of a playable beast class and shit like that, I do kind of hope they do occasionally stick some in there. Like, I know it's pretty serious, but FGO and Type Moon in general is known for their ability to have these deep-seated, like deep-cut, emotionally devastating moments. Nasu is gonna ruin your whole goddamn decade kind of shit. But also, they have some of the funniest fucking over-engineered April Fool's jokes like ever. They've done fake Twitter accounts and shit like that before. Fake idol agencies for like all the servants and shit like that. That's where the Backspears Boys joke comes from originally. That was like an April Fool's thing they did with a whole bunch of other stuff. Like, I could totally see somebody doing this as a very over-engineered gag sometime.
Hang on, I have to yell alter real quick.
Nope. Yeah, he's seeing the stuff.
Yeah.
I have seen that the boys are out of Crow Casual, so I think we're taking a 14 break for the moment.
Mm-hmm. How do you spell orchestration? Orchestration.
He can sound it out correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, honestly, while we're talking about 14, that is legitimate because you might accidentally say orchestrion, which is not right.
Orchestrion or orchestration? I don't fucking know. Sorry, Lucky.
I think both. I think both works in this context.
Yeah, orchestrion and orchestration. Orchestri. That sounds like it might have an E or an I there. I don't fucking know. Probably an I. I don't know fucking language. I mean, I wasn't bad in English, but... Ugh! Anyway, let me tab back away from Discord here, back to this. Sorry about that. So. As Lucky was horribly distracted there. So, this next one comes from... The Tyrant King still in shock and awe after experiencing the first world's boss fight and Honkai Star Rail. Well, I hope people are having fun with that. People have been mostly talking about Star Rail rather than Genshin Impact. I did a funny and I slapped the Genshin Impact and the Star Rail into Hoyoverse, so anything basically by Nihio is supposed to go there. I don't think I've seen anything but fucking Star Rail in there. I'm pretty sure. If not, they've fucking passed. They zoomed past it. So, but this person says, question, hey guys, with part of the Beast 6 now on mobile, do you think you will eventually do a recap of the beast we faced? Okay, hang on. Lucky brain did not work here. I gotta go push the reset button real quick here. Hang on.
Rewind.
Okay. Question, hey guys, with part of the Beast 6 now on mobile, will you eventually do a recap of the beast we faced like your recap of the Lost Belts? Anyway, that's it for me. Sending the good vibes your way. Wah. And hope you have a great evening. P.S. Praise Dami Mommy Nero. Just, stoically nod. I mean,
As for the question, I mean, I think there's two ways to take this. Are you asking us, would we ever do a show where we recap the beasts? Possibly.
I'm down to do that.
That might have to wait until, obviously, we catch up to current content so we can actually look at everything because, not only do we have one half of Beast 6 being added, but there's even more Beast 7 stuff to come, I presume, in main story. So we might have to wait for that. But yeah, probably we can do some time like that. If you're talking about like a clip show breakout, probably not, because that would involve a lot of tracking down of probably very random episodes. We do have a Teach Me Somewhere about what beasts are supposed to be about. I think in that episode, I did actually kind of recap the different traits of the beasts we knew about, but that was like 3-4 beasts ago.
I mean, I think it'd be fun.
It's been a while.
I think it'd be fun to redo it all, especially if we can do the versions like we can do like Tiamat and Babylonia, but then we could also be like playable Tiamat and the differences between them, the personalities and stuff. We can do big deep dives.
Yeah, I think there's probably some interesting stuff there. Again, that will probably have to wait a while until we can get our full picture of information from some of our later stuff. But yeah, we could totally revisit the topic.
I love revisiting topics. So, let us move on. This next one comes from Royal Knight. I'm gonna fuck this up. Next one comes from Royal Knight Dynasmon. I hope I did that right.
Sounds about right.
But they say, have either of you ever tried the FGO card game that became more of a collectible than an actual game? Quick answer off the spot, no.
Yeah, no. I'm not even sure which exactly this person is referring to. Because there was the FGO Duel, which was, I would argue, was just as much figure-based as it was card-based. That they, like, barely brought over here. But a lot of the stuff they didn't bring over here, so yeah.
And there's always weird card games that will just, pick up a fucking franchise, slap images on cards, and just ship it out.
Yeah, we've talked about that in the past. People have asked us. There are apparently Fate-branded cards for, is it Weiss Schwartz?
Yes.
That's a big, based in Japan TCG that does a lot with tie-in material as well. But there's loads and loads of that stuff out there. There's, Square Enix has a pretty active Final Fantasy trading card game, from what I understand. Don't know shit about it, but I remember that occasionally Amazon, it tries to sell me stuff. Now I've realized, shit, if they got like a high quality foil crush font, I'm like, fuck. I might need to build a tiny shrine. How many different versions of Astidian do they have? But yes, no, I've not played any particular FGO card games. I did eat some FGO vanilla wafers once that had little collectible cards in them. I really wish I could get those in the States. They were good wafers.
The only FGO cards I have is when I spent like $100 and something bucks ordering fucking FGO arcade cards. So that's all I got.
It's perfectly reasonable. Hell, I think actually, if you want to talk about, practical value, I think you did pretty good. I could go to TCG Player right now and look up what, like, Starlight Rares and Yu-Gi-Oh! Cost right now.
I still need to work.
Probably more than what you spent.
I still need to work on my Dragon Maid collection. I forget it every day. Listen, I've actually been working on my room. I'm actually working on increasing my cell space. Like, I was gonna, like, if everyone saw me AFK in Limsa, it was probably because I was building 2 shelves and then modifying one. I'm gonna let you know right now, I modified it very badly. I'm glad it's the top part that no one's gonna fucking see, because I'm gonna have to take a fucking sander to that when I do part 2. But wait, where was I going with this? I distracted my fucking self and I lost where I was going. What the fuck, Lucky?
I think it was about cards.
It was about cards, but I'm trying to...
Oh, it was about you were working on your room, so you were thinking about expanding your Dragon Maids.
Yes, that's what it was. Like, I'm working on expanding my room and putting up new shelving and stuff so I can have stuff to put, like, my plush animals that are, like, stuck in my closet. Listen, I have Lucky has a small collection of plush animals, and I want the world to see them. But... things, and I'm working on, like, modifying my room. Like, I'm building a design where I'll probably show pictures in the Discord and maybe I'll doodle some things, but it's supposed to be going, like, around the room, and I have, like, spaces set out, because what I'm planning to do is actually frame up my Dragon Maids and my Tiamat cards and actually hang them on the wall so everyone can see them, and then and then I think about, I'm like, wait, I don't actually have the Dragon Maid cards. I have, like, 6 of them out of, like, what, 20-something? I can't remember. I'm just like, I do need to go back to TGC Player and start getting on that more.
You might find some better prices. I think there's been a few-
Jesus,
couple reprints.
$845.
Yeah. So I linked this in our chat. That is a Starlight Rare, which is a very, very rare. It's like one is printed in every what people call a case, which is a sealed cardboard box of, I think it's like 10 individual booster boxes, which themselves are like $100. So that is a Starlight Rare, which is very, very high rarity. Almost exclusively for like high-level collectors and investors, and it's of a very popular card, Stardust Dragon, and is that's the most expensive one I found at about 800. Some Starlight Rares are much cheaper because the cards are not good, but if it's something that if it's a card that people like or that people could use, even though it is a ludicrous high rarity, they are fucking expensive.
Pain Pecco.
Though Tyler the Great Warrior, which was the Make-A-Wish Foundation card, of which there's one in the world, the kid from that Make-A-Wish actually survived and kept the card, and he recently auctioned it off for tens of thousands, if not I think it was tens of thousands of dollars.
Okay.
Got himself some startup money to get on with his life, since he's a healthy adult now.
Yeah.
All right, where were we in this mailbag?
We were... Okay, I see where we are. So, thank you very much. We're going to move on to the next one. This next one comes from Agent 418, in shock that Kremhill got the Saberface buff. Did she?
I have no knowledge of this place.
Hang on. FGO Wiki! FGO Wiki! Open up.
I did not see a note of her having the
Open up.
Artorial face trait right away, but also there's been so much stuff happening that I think the wiki is a little behind. I think it was like only a couple of days ago they remembered to add the new rank up quest to their overlay.
No shit, it doesn't have it. It says 7 Knight Servant. What is 7 Knight Servant?
That's Beast Nero's NP trait damage. If you are one of the original 7 classes, die.
Ah.
I don't really know why they need to code it as a trait, but I guess it is just how the code base works.
I am pretty sure it is easier to... I'm pretty sure it is easier to code it to one specific trait than to individually add seven markers.
Yeah, probably. That seems fair. I know that there are some things that only proc on certain classes, like for instance, Summer Musashi gets her NP seal buff versus Sabers. But yeah, it probably is a lot easier to code it as a trait tag and just add that to all the different 7 classes.
But they say. Oh, maybe it is a Domineer thing. I don't fucking know. I don't know. Hello, Lucky Omega. Have a great weekend. You too, my dude. You too. Hang on, let me unleash Musashi on these fools. I'm reading, so I can't,
No. If anybody's wondering where there's been a couple points where I've been silent, it's because I have been pushing buttons and activating skills.
Mm-hmm. But let us move on. This next one comes from Something Interesting. And they say, no bamboozlement, only good vibes. Wah, 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 wah. Thanks for the content. Thanks for being here. I need to stop hitting my fucking headphones on the damn mic stand here. Adjust. Microphone adjust.
Mics adjust.
God, just saying that makes me think of that post we saw about that tank who put out a fucking... I will fucking... Like,
if you rescue me, I will report you. If you try to get me killed, I will report you too.
It's like, I can understand that. I'm always leery about running tank and just having a fucking DPS or healer who is just like, I must become speed. Because Lucky doesn't care about going in fast. I just want to, have myself a good time. And usually that's not sprinting into 4 sets of mobs. Usually it's like 2. And I'm like, nah, this is good, fam. But there are definitely times where I've been rescued forward, people will drag mobs back to me, and I'm just all like, why are you people like this? I did not consent to this. So I
but
get
at the same time, just being like...
It's like, no.
If you do it, I will report you. If you try to fuck with me, I'll report you too. Like, really? Really, buddy?
Yeah, no. Do you know what I usually do when people do that? I just shirk to them, and then I just sit down and just let them, like, panic. And then they scream, and I'm like, well, I didn't consent to this. And then they get mad and leave, and I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, you know, it's the ultimate fuck around and find out. I mean, but that comment is just like what somebody in the chat log even says, which is like, who hurt you?
Yeah, no. I'm glad. I found it was like, no one was, like, mad or like, what the fuck. They were like, damn, something happened to this guy.
Yeah.
But, let's move on.
Yeah.
This next one comes from the master who left a message because an old man told him to do it. Hey, Darth Omega and Smuggler Lucky. Hope you've had a good Star Wars day and Revenge of the 5th, Cinco de Mayo. That's why there was all those makeshift Mexican restaurants up. I'm an idiot. I should have got those fucking tamales. I'm dumb.
I find it funnier that you did. You only got this just now, not yesterday, when I think I made a comment about it being Cinco de Mayo, and I was like, oh yeah, I didn't even realize, because to be fair, we were playing 14.
I was playing 14. I might have been thinking about something.
I think you were doing Crystalline Conflict at the time.
Yeah, no. Like I said, I have to like use like 3/4 of the one brain cell I have when I'm doing Crystalline Conflict.
No, I understand. I remember that came up when, funnily enough, we were doing leveling roulette, and I was tanking, and I was like, sorry guys, I can't focus right now. I'm using Lucky is playing rogue and running around and throwing knives at people. I have to use 100% of my brain power on remembering how to tank right now.
I was full goblin.
Which is very funny because I think it's been about 2 weeks since I actually tanked a dungeon. Luckily it was Sastasha, so we were all fucking level 16, so it didn't matter.
Musashi, did we forget a skill, girl? You only got 40% back. What the fuck? Did I do something?
I think all your buds are pressed. They're all berserkers, which does mean less, but damn, that doesn't seem like a lot.
No.
Usually I get like 60 or 70.
Huh. Weird. Oh well. We'll just do some slapping.
But after Cinco de Mayo, this person had a question.
Yes. My question is this. With the texture of the world bleach, does the Earth technically have become more hospitable for the return of mystery and phantasmal species from the reserve side without the need of the trees creating lost belts? Sending those vibes, as always. I don't know what kind of vibes they are, so I don't know what sound to make here.
Yeah, they just, those vibes. Those ones.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think this theory might be correct. I think that is part of why, allegedly, the Earth has been bleached. Because, obviously, again, funnily enough, just recapping from, Lost Belt 5 stuff, apparently mankind did do something bad touch to an alien in Area 51, which is why they were very mad at us. But that's only an excuse to, kill all of humanity. You didn't necessarily need to, bleach the texture of the Earth as well. I'm pretty sure that was done in order to pave way for the Lost Belts to recreate mystics. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it wouldn't make the Earth more hospitable for mystery and magic as well. That said, it would probably be a pretty weird mystery for a while. Though, we can go outside.
Lucky shrugs.
Chill on the bleached Earth. Anyway, well, sounds like a neato theory. Keep that pinned until we actually figure out what the fuck we're doing about this bleached Earth situation.
Sorry, rubbing my eyes. All right, I can see again.
It happens.
This next one comes from Cahulian God. They say, hope you had a good weekend. Had a question last week, but forgot about the time. And next thing I know, it was Friday, 7 p.m. California time. That's also known as Lucky Standard Time, by the way. As for the question, off the top of your head, what two servants would you want to be co-workers with? One is a servant you would have the most fun working with, and the other is a servant you think you would... Bleh. As for the question, off the top of your head, what two servants would you want to be co-workers with? One is a servant that you would have the most fun working with. The other is the servant you think you work the most efficiently with. Hope you have a good weekend, good vibes, goddess style, and pour one out for the communication bot. Which communication bot? I know I got rid of a couple bots, but and also off the top of my head, I would like I would like a Tamamo co-worker because one of the artists I follow does that art a lot. I'm like, that's good civ, and just work most efficiently with fucking Karna. Karna would just be the broest bro and just help me with all my work constantly.
It's an interesting question. Like, skill-wise, I'm trying to think, like, which servants would be the best at, video production and podcasting. The problem is most of the servants would not be super efficient.
Yeah, no, I'm about to
like
say.
I could pick Hime, but I'd have to, get a crowbar and pry her out of the blanket burrito every time we wanted to do something. That's canon. So yeah, I'm not so sure. Just like most fun to work with. I mean, Karna's pretty good. Actually, no. I'll do a classic here. I'll throw Sherlock Holmes into that hat. I'd be a Watson. That'd be funny. I'm willing to be slightly dumber than the detective, possibly slightly dumber than the audience. That'd be an amusing use of my time, and I do have the degreeification for it.
Sorry, I'm just thinking it's all like, you're willing. I don't think I would have a choice. I'd be like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Help!
Elementary, my dear Lucky.
Why, yes, Holmes, I was lucky to pass that grade of schooling. But yeah, I'm actually trying to think like who would actually be the most work efficient. I don't know. I mean, like I could say like Da Vinci, but I don't. Da Vinci would be my boss. It would not be my coworker.
But it would be, yeah, it would. We'd get some, you get some fucking shit done, but it would be some weird shit. Like, I'm just thinking of the Bastien, and I'm just like all of our thumbnails would just be cats somehow, even if the videos are not cat related. Da Vinci just makes. Da Vinci would develop a robot that prints thumbnails and then scans them into a computer because she doesn't want to use a keyboard.
For general business, I would say probably Queen of Sheba. Probably can whip up a meme PowerPoint. But like
Da Vinci hand draws all the thumbnails and scans them into a computer.
But for like specifically like digital and video editing. Ozymandias. Because he would just use fucking imperial privilege and be all like, behold! And your one job is just to flatter him enough that he wants to do it. What am I doing?
Like, in general or specifically?
I don't know.
Because on screen, you're doing rank ups. It looks like it's Riders and Berserkers, so we're just gonna
keep slapping with Berserk with Sashi.
And right now, we're probably picking our best time to move on.
Yes. So, moving on, let's go on to Monster Girl Aficionado, my man. They say, Dear Lucky Omega, no question this week, just sending you the good vibes. Wah, 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 wah. And wishing you well. Keep up the good work. Same to you. Hope to see you next week. And, oh, we only got, this is the last one. Alrighty. So, last one comes from Soul of the Light Mode Discord. Who says, Hail, fellow Romans. With Beef's final advent, I have a simple question for you both. Who is the best Nero? Red Saber, Bride Saber? What is this nonsense word in the middle of this?
Snip.
Nero Lily, Whore Babylon, or Your Son Calls Me Umu too. May the Sith be with you. Wah, 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 wah. Clearly, Saber Venus, which is peak Nero form.
Yeah. By the way, that was a manual wah. That's why that was read that way.
Yes.
I mean, I'll just give it bonus points for even though it's not the right your son calls me Umu too. It gave me a chuckle.
Like, don't you guys want Nero abs? Actually, can I find the official? Yeah, I think it's.
Oh, I'm sure you can.
Hang on.
It's out there. I think we've posted that transparency before.
Yeah, I will fucking do it. Hang the fuck on. Look, he's gonna do a thing here. Hang on. Because this might be one of the greatest, like in the top 3 greatest things that fucking Fate Extella gave us. Hang on, so let me educate you.
Copy transparent. Paste it to OBS.
Yeah, that's happening right now. Where is image?
It's a flexible, durable program, OBS.
Let me see here. Downloads. Here. There. Look at this beautiful creature. Yeah, let's just enhance that. Let's just make that bigger. Let's just get bigger.
I feel like I'm getting a strange sense of deja vu right now. I have been in this place before.
Look at this beautiful creature. Let's just zoom in more.
This is Wada Arco did some anatomy studies recently.
Just keep going in. Yes. It's so good. Just look, just right there. Look at that. Just put your face against it. So good. And that's enough of that.
Shout out to Wada Arco for all that fucking definition detail there. That is a properly highlighted and shaded anatomy, chat. Don't you ask me about that. Okay, that was our last one of those. Go ahead and close that tab.
Yep.
I'll skip the ad because I don't know how much longer the show's going on.
It's probably not going to go on that long, Nay.
Yeah, because we're going to talk about that Fan Servant Friday, and that's it, because there's no real back half.
Nay.
Fan Servant Friday, if those of you who don't know, again, talk about make sure there's, opportunity for new watchers and listeners every show. This is a poll I run on Patreon for our $5 and up patrons. It's pick one everyone's. I was thinking about getting some better schemes together for May, but that was, again, Wednesday, literally sick, so did not get too much smarter. It's basically the same as last time, but I added a new one. So we've got your options this month are writer Jacques Cousteau, Saber Lamalpin, who's currently winning with 45. I think I've had this design since we literally started during Fan Servant Friday, so that's good to see her finally on top for the moment. Lancer Maliger and another fun one who is our second place currently with 36% of the votes, of which there are 10 days left, and I'm pretty sure not everybody who's eligible has voted yet. Both of you already support us on Patreon at $5 or higher, or wish to be a new patron. Got some wiggle room in there. But our last one is Neoptolemus, the son of Achilles, who I have classed as a berserker. So that'll be a fun one. But the one that won last time was King Laocoon. Hashtag April is for werewolves. Even though there's no longer April.
God damn it.
So, Lycon, you may immediately probably be able to guess is related to the same... Well, we'll see if YouTube has complaints about the ad revenue or not later. I'm pretty sure that counts as a swimsuit shot. That's okay for advertisers.
There was no nip.
Listen, YouTube tells me that my self-rating on our ad sensitivity is very good. YouTube trusts me. Thumbs up. Anyway, you may have been able to guess that from the name of the king. Lycaon is a very similar to the phrase lycanthropy. Yes, I believe it is indeed the same root. So the basics of this is King Lycaon is a king of Arcadia. Arcadia is the, forested, deep interior province of ancient Greece normally. This is the same place that Atalante comes from later. And also, King Lycaon is attested as having quite a lot of sons, usually around 50. That'll be coming back relevant later. But also he had several daughters, one of whom was Callisto, who became, the follower of Artemis and responsible for those Earth sign constellations because of shenanigans. And previous subject of Fan 7 Friday. There are quite a few different variations of his myth, but the usual version here is basically King Lycaon, he's a perfectly normal Greek king. He's in charge of a state. He's, pretty cool. His wife is a mountain nymph, an Oread. He has a shitload of sons and also some daughters. And at some point, he decides to ask himself, Sorry, I touched my chin and thus also bunked my pop filter. Let's see if Zeus really is all-powerful.
This does not end well.
No, it never does. So to test if Zeus can tell what's going on with his sacrifices, he kills one of his sons, Nectimus, his youngest, and cooks him and serves him to Zeus to let him know if he can tell if he is eating human flesh as a sacrifice. Zeus indeed understands what it's like to eat a man. And so curses Lycaon and all of his remaining 49 sons because of their, various bestialousness. He turns all of them into wolves. And Nyctimus is restored to life so that Arcadia can continue. Despite this instance, he is still said to have founded a city in Arcadia. He was a culture, hero. He started a cult to Zeus. This is presumably why he probably was trying to, be like, hey, Zeus, I've done a lot for you. Are you really all-powerful? And Zeus is like, yes, actually. But also started a tradition of the Lycian Games, which are pretty old. And so it's one of those weird cases where he is very clearly a culture hero who's very important, though obviously there are a couple of Lycans in Greek myth. It's not a one-and-done name. But also did that classic thing where he tried to be like, yo, let me test those gods. Oh, no. I can't believe you've done this, says Zeus and turns him into a wolf. So, again, while the phrase lycanthropy has obviously some very, clear linguistic ties to Lycaon, it's not quite the same thing. He's not actually literally turned into a wolf man, though there are some, medieval and later engravings that are kind of in that frame, Renaissance era stuff where they reimagine a lot of classical myth. But in the actual myth sources we've got, he's literally turned into a wolf. But we don't really talk a lot about werewolves in Fate, so we do have a little bit of werewolf lore from some various things and stuff. But this gives us some room to get in there. Also, if you're curious, it was Pseudo-Apollodorus' Bibliotheca that gives us the list of Lycaon's various big boy sons and all of their stuff, and at least one of our major attestations.
Ptolema's getting there. 100K to go.
And I should also mention that the in the original version, headed up in Bibliotheca, Lycaon has 50 sons. He's a king. Apparently, it's generally considers that his sons were kind of shitters. They would roam around the countryside just doing kind of whatever because, you're one of many, many sons of a king. And
like animals.
Zeus visited them in the form of a peasant, and apparently Lycaon was smart enough to catch on to this one. Very rare, to be fair. But yeah, there's a lot of other stuff. In some versions, he, just sprinkles a child's blood on Zeus's offer as a sacrifice, and Zeus is immediately like, nope, none of that. In general, it's interesting to kind of catch on this commentary that despite all of their other foibles, generally, depending on the source, most of the Greek gods are against human sacrifice unless you have done really fucked up. Like, there are only, I think, a couple of instances where it happens outright in... Sorry, I fucking blanked on the Iliad's name for a second. I was thinking of the Trojan War. But in the course of the events of the Iliad, there are a couple of human sacrifice incidents that are pretty bad. Menon has to sacrifice one of his daughters. Though in some tellings, they do note that it's basically like a god's trick. Whenever you go to sacrifice a human anyway, the gods just fucking rescue them. Showing you that, by the way, fan fiction where characters don't die and, retire to a coffee shop somewhere are old as dirt. Literally as old as writing. But usually, if there's an actual human sacrifice involved, some big boy shit is done, and they have to ask it for it. If they do not ask it, they will be very upset. I believe, I think it's Tantalus might also be related to another incident where somebody tried to feed the gods human flesh. And the gods were like, whoa. Chat might recognize. But so that's our basic framework for Laocoon, the king of Arcadia. He do be a werewolf. So I have classified him as a berserker. I've called him lawful evil because, he seems like kind of a donkel king, but he's a king. There are also some notes about, like, the city that bears his name in Arcadia is supposed to be, like, one of the oldest founded cities in Greece, so there's a lot of, mystery and stuff going on there. Should be a big, tough, interesting guy. With Berserker stats, it's always a little hard to tell where you should put the stats, because Fate has never been clear about if you're looking at stats for Berserker, if their madness enhancement is already applied or not. I still went with, like, Strength A, Endurance A+, Agility B, Magic Power D, Luck D-. There's no way this man's that lucky. NPA. Madness enhancement B. He is a fucking wolf man. And I am actually, by the way, picturing this would be an actual, honest-to-God, wolfman sprite, like the werewolf enemies we can beat up in FGO, who have basically no lore about them. Probably armed with, like, a club or something that maybe turns into an axe at a higher ascension. Or maybe a sword, because Heracles already does kind of the stone thing into an axe. But, yeah, I'm just imagining, a big hairy wolf man. Eventually give him, like, a cool wolf pin cloak and, like, a crown or something, neato. Maybe some gold laurel leaves or something. But, yeah. Starts as just, like, probably a more detailed, muscly version of our normal werewolf sprite. So, personal skills. Beast Logic B. I think Beast Logic is the skill that Atalante Altar has. But basically, like, the thought process acquired by being transformed into a beast improves your speed at which your mind can find weak points and execute attacks to kill the enemy. Works even if you've got madness enhancement. Basic, even if you're crazy, you still have bestial instincts. Works out perfectly. Second personal skill, Pack Hunter B+. A kind of charisma of the Werewolf King. He was a folk hero, founded many cities. He tried to fool the god Zeus, but turned into a wolf. Even with madness enhancement, he can command other canines to follow him and possesses an instinctive ability to hunt in a pack. So even though he is, an inarticulate, crazy wolf man, he can still boss wolves around. Probably manifests as an actual charisma skill for the team-wide attack up, and then maybe gives you further attack up if you have the beast trait, because that's the thing. Or an animal trait, servant.
It's a thing.
Because that is a thing, and I don't think we have a lot of buffs for that. Like, I believe Koyansky of Dark has a effect that procs on animal trait servants, but that's about it. So you could throw in some more support there. And final skill, Wolves of Arcadia A. This is his personal skill. He tried to fool the god Zeus by serving him a human child and was cursed to become a wolf. He, a lot of this is probably related because there are a lot of legends and myths in ancient Greece about, children being abandoned in the woods of Arcadia and just generally the idea of wolves in the forests of Arcadia. This was probably, the spooky wolf place. Like, why do we have all these, French and Germanic legends about big bad wolves? Well, because once upon a time, there were lots of wolves in the forests of France and Germany, and they were generally a bad time for humans. I have to ask you the question, chat. Do you think you could fist fight a wolf? What about 5 wolves?
I want to say 1 wolf, yes. 5 wolves, no.
Yeah, they are literal pack hunters, so there's a reason why there's a lot of this, like, superstition and heebie-jeebies humans have about wolves, despite the fact that, obviously, we also have a long-running partnership with wolves because, domesticated dogs and wolves are not that distantly genetically related. So, it's, definitely a thing. So, there's a lot of mythology here, and that's kind of what forms the skill. It's known for deadly wolves, for fast, so he can move silently across wooded terrain, even as a berserker werewolf. His howl sets humans on edge. Probably this could be a, give the enemy terror effect, and then probably a quick up. I model this after some of, again, because... and I think I'm pretty sure Adelante would be a distant descendant of Lyocon, because she is from Arcadia.
Probably, yeah.
So I based some of her, some of Lyocon's, I should say, some of his skill descriptions and stuff off some of her personal skills, again, like the Beast Logic, Wolves Arcadia setup. So probably like a self-quick up, and then also maybe like give terror to all enemies type effect. And then Noble Phantasms, we have 2, one of which could replace one of these other ones. The first one I have called Lycanthrope King, Armor of the Cursed, an A-rank anti-personnel self Noble Phantasm. An always active type Noble Phantasm given to Lyocon as the quote-unquote first werewolf. Because even if we don't actually know if he's the first werewolf, he's the first one that we know in Greek mythology, which, as we know, based on Nasuverse rules, means that he is the first assist and the best assist. So, gives him the physical body of a phantasmal beast, greatly increases his strength and endurance. Additionally, as time has gone on, werewolf folklore has evolved, so now the werewolf is seen as cursed with invulnerability. It cannot be killed or released from its horrific transformation unless hit with certain weaknesses. So obviously, as King of the Werewolves, Lyocon has this affinity. His hide repels mundane weapons unless they're divine constructs or conform to the traditional weaknesses of a werewolf, such as silver or wolfsbane, etc. Aconite. As he was cursed by Zeus, lightning also pierces his defenses. His strength and regeneration are vastly increased when he is bathed in moonlight. So this is probably not your Noble Phantasm. Noble Phantasms are probably as a skill, but, health regen, invul stacks, shit like that, give him hard defenses and the ability to regenerate. But in fluff, he would basically always on have, that werewolf power to just not fucking die. So, pretty solid. And then the offensive NP, Sons of Lyocon, the Pack of Arcadia, B+ anti-army NP, because Lyocon was known for having 50 sons who also founded a shitload of cities in the region of Arcadia. All of them were in attendance when Zeus visited Lyocon. Testing, he tried to feed him human meat, reported to be Lyocon's youngest son. Zeus cursed not only Lyocon, but his 49 remaining sons to become wolves, so this becomes a Noble Phantasm. Even after being cursed, the sons are loyal to the father, so they appear when called. Their shape is, fully the size of that of a wolf, but they are larger in size and fiercer than any beast seen on Earth since the Age of Gods, because these would indeed be spooky primeval wolves. And then basically using his skills, they attack in perfect coordination and silence. They are masters of forested terrain. They surround enemies and overwhelm them. Because again, he summons literally 49 fucking wolves to attack you. So, just imagine, you know how swarm enemies in D&D are kind of a pain in the ass? Imagine swarm of wolves. Wolf swarm.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking elemental plane of wolves, and that terrifies me more than it actually should.
That's basically what we're doing. I mean, listen, if you saw 49 wolves led by a werewolf king coming over the horizon, what the fuck would you be thinking?
Well, just shoot myself now.
Get the fuck out of here. Also, yes, I said he's boosted by moonlight because, that's another werewolf thing. That's not original there, but it's become a thing about the full moon. So there's lots of... This is a fun exercise because obviously Lyocon is a actual classical mythological character. He's in a lot of those big myth and poetry compilations, but also as kind of, a root for our word for werewolf and stuff. There's been a lot of werewolf lore since then, so you get to do some fun drift stuff. But yeah, I'm imagining in FGO this would probably be some kind of AoE quick where, you know, he just shoots a million wolves at the enemy. Swarms over them, does a lot of damage. Probably quick based, because again, I'm just thinking of like themes with other, you know, characters we've seen and stuff. And yeah, you know, that's about it. Kind of a fun attempt to bridge the gap between classical wolf lore and yeah, I mean, if it was actually 49 hits, that would probably be pretty broken, but you know, you could make it like 9 hits. But yes, that is King Laocoon. That is what you voted for. The Wolfman.
The wolfiest.
The wolfiest man. Obviously, like I said, if you want to vote in more of those polls, support us on Patreon. But that about wraps up all the stuff we got going on for today. That means that we can, hold on.
You can get on out of here. Nope.
Sorry, fielding a question from the Discord. Okay. But yes, we can skedaddle on out of here. If you're watching this video, be sure to fire it up a like.
What's happening here? Weird.
If you have any comments, you can leave those in the commento section below, or wait for our mailbag posting. And as always, if you're new here, please subscribe for more.
More.
We'll be back, you know, next week with more of this stuff. Got some streams coming up.
It broke.
I could probably insert some, you know, some what's up faff around in there, but the only thing I've got to say in addition to my sickness is, hey, if you've played Cult of the Lamb, check out their Relics of the Old God, the Old Faith update. It's a free update and adds a lot of post-game shit.
Okay.
If you haven't checked out Cult of the Lamb, I think it's on sale recently, and you should pick it up if you need something to do in the 6 days before Tears of the Kingdom hits. In other news, 6 days until Tears of the Kingdom hits, until you don't fucking hear from me.
Probably, yeah. Alright, this ain't gonna work. I have to figure this out later.
But, as usual, like I said, you know, give us the sub, ring that bell for notifications. Consider dropping us a YouTube channel membership. Get access to membership badges and emotes in live streams, in community pages, and other places. And also, like I said, the Patreon thing. That's all we got for this week's Let's Talk FGO. We'll be sure to hit you back up more with more stuff.
Yeah. So, see you next time.
Good night, everyone.